Scores of fires are burning out of control across Australia amid a heat wave which has seen temperatures exceed 40 Celsius in every state.
At least 8 people known to have died since Monday alone, and thousands continuing to shelter in evacuation centres. The terrifying scale of Australia's bushfire disaster is beginning to emerge.
It's like fireballs in the air that explode, cars blowing up before fire even gets near. It's unprecedented.
In a major escalation in tensions between the U.S. and Iran, the top Iranian general has been killed in an airstrike while leaving the Baghdad airport.
As you know, this is an evolving and complex situation.
The UK is my home and a place that I love. That will never change. The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. There really was no other option.
This video from Iranian state TV shows a battery of weapons racing out of Iran into Iraq and straight toward American forces at 2 U.S. facilities. As the world waits to see how he responds, the U.S. and Iran now dangerously close to war.
A Ukrainian passenger jet plane has crashed shortly after takeoff from Tehran, killing at least 170 passengers and crew.
That it was an Iranian missile that brought down that passenger jet that crashed outside Tehran.
Straight to the virus that has created a global panic and has now claimed over 100 lives in China.
Senate impeachment trial is here, and that heavy moment today when the Chief Justice arrived to be sworn in to preside over the impeachment trial of President Trump.
The deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
And in the city of Wuhan, where the outbreak began, patients now in isolation, all trains and planes out of that city halted just tonight.
The LA Times is reporting that retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
Big Ben strikes 11 p.m. in London and it's midnight in Brussels. It'll be official. The UK no longer a member state of the European Union.
Historic victory for President Trump in the impeachment trial. The Senate acquitting him on both charges. This was a straight party line vote, except for Senator Mitt Romney, who did something no politician has ever done before, voting to remove his own party's president from office.
First of all, we now have a name for the disease, and it is COVID-19.
The verdict has come in the Harvey Weinstein sex assault trial, and he has been found guilty.
The number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold. There are now more than 118,000 cases. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Italy is on total lockdown after coronavirus containment measures originally announced for the northern region were extended across the entire country. It is the most restrictive action to stop the spread of the virus taken outside of mainland China.
2 days after the president said the coronavirus was of little consequence, tonight he emerged into the Rose Garden to make a dramatic announcement.
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
The 2020 Summer Olympics, now the latest major sports cancellation caused by the global COVID-19.
Do you watch porn? He says, yeah. I said, what, do you enjoy the guy with the little one doing it, or do you enjoy watching the guy with the big one doing it? And he says, well, obviously you want to watch the guy with the big one. I said, well, you ain't that straight.
Today I'll be teaching you how to use soup.
Yes! Is this working? This is what happens when I self-isolate. I don't even know where to go from here. That's a lie. I do. So, let's rock. Well, we can't play this song unless you let me invite some of my family to the party. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of The Office.
Oh my God! Officials are deeply concerned about the rapid escalation of coronavirus as global infections surpass 1 million.
The city of Wuhan, China, counting down not to a new year, but to the end of 77 days under lockdown.
Senator Bernie Sanders is suspending his campaign for the presidency.
Broadway shows have been suspended. They've suspended all performances through April 12th due to the coronavirus outbreak.
This body cam video
And separately, this security video showed some of the last few minutes of George Floyd's life.
Within 48 hours of the killing of George Floyd, demonstrations are spreading across the United States.
What do we want it?
Some are spontaneous, but many are organized by Black Lives Matter.
They executed my brother in broad daylight.
The officers involved have all been fired. The city's mayor wants them charged as the frustration continues.
China says trials continue on a novel coronavirus vaccine, and so far, no one has had any major adverse reactions to the test.
As France gradually reopens schools and businesses and people once again start taking public transit, one expert says a second wave is possible if France drops the ball on testing. Experts around the world have sounded the alarm as countries start reopening their economies. The confirmed worldwide cases of coronavirus hovers around 5 million.
Back now with what's called murder hornets, reported in the U.S. for the first time.
He was stunningly rich. He had a $20 million house, his own private island in the Caribbean.
It has a nickname, the Pedophile Island.
I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights.
As he spoke, police were moving demonstrators away from the White House area, where Trump would soon walk over to that church, Bible in hand, tear gas lingering in the air.
And once again, police brutality and economic injustice combined to cause an explosion of outrage.
Today we announced charges against Ghislaine Maxwell for helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually exploit and abuse multiple minor girls.
Just after 6 p.m. local time on Tuesday the 4th of August, an explosion ripped through Beirut's port.
We begin tonight with the sudden and very tragic death sending shockwaves across the country. Actor Chadwick Boseman died at the age of 43 following a private 4-year battle with colon cancer.
Tenet is the movie that'll decide how quickly the industry turns around. It was supposed to be one of the big blockbusters of the summer. Instead, it's really the only one.
Going out with a bang. These were the scenes on the streets of Portland as Donald Trump's federal task force supposedly withdrew.
The fact that Trump is using our tax dollars to attack Americans, this should trouble everybody of conscience.
The San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge remains shrouded in smoke, in a pale comparison to what the morning commute looked like this week.
As we mentioned, fires are burning all along the U.S. West Coast, from Southern California all the way to the U.S. Pacific Northwest. Dozens of people have already died, and officials are predicting historic levels of destruction by the end of this fire season.
Mourners outside the court, flags at half staff there and at the White House.
And in the last few minutes, President Trump has tweeted saying that he and the First Lady have tested positive for COVID-19.
After 4 years of division and a campaign like no other, Sky News is now ready to call the result of this US election.
Joe Biden has won the American presidential election.
And it is now my great honor to introduce the President-elect of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
With millions of votes still to be counted, U.S. President Donald Trump falsely asserted that he was the winner of the election and insinuated that voter fraud had occurred.
This is a major fraud in our nation.
The UK is the first country in the West to authorize the use of a coronavirus vaccine.
90-year-old Margaret Keenan, she's become the first person in the world to receive the Pfizer vaccine against COVID-19.